They would later say that the girl who ran through the village that night moved like a shadow chased by something unseen. Her wrapper flapped behind her in the cold wind, dust rising under her bare feet, and her breath trembled as though she was running out of life itself. But Halima wasn't running from a wild animal. She was running from the future her father tried to force on her. Earlier that evening, Halima had been sitting quietly outside, peeling ground nuts for her younger siblings. The sun was dipping behind the neem trees, painting the village in gold and shadow. Children were still playing with old bicycle tires, goats were bleating, and women carried water pots on their heads. It was an ordinary evening, or so she thought, until she heard her stepmother's voice from inside the house. Loud, sharp, triumphant. Alhaji Musa is coming tomorrow to pay her bride price. Halima's heart stopped mid-beat. She froze, ground nuts falling from her fingers. She leaned closer to the window, her pulse thundering in her ears. Her father's deep voice followed, tired but agreeing. Good. Let them come early. I need the money before the planting season begins. The world around her blurred. The ground under her seemed to tilt. Bride price? Who? Me? Her stomach twisted painfully. Her stepmother's voice rose again. The girl has no say. She should even be grateful. Who else will marry her with this economy? Halima shut her eyes tightly. Her chest felt heavy. Alhaji Musa, the man whose first wife died mysteriously. The man who beat the second one until she disappeared. The man villagers whispered about with fear. A man old enough to be her grandfather. Her father giving her to him? Halima's breath caught in her throat. She felt something snap inside her. Something she didn't know she had the right to protect. She stood quietly, walked away from the window, and went behind their house. There, in the cover of darkness, she broke. Her hands shook uncontrollably as she pressed them against her chest. Ya Allah, why me? She cried silently, afraid someone might hear. She cried until her eyes burned and her throat tightened. Then, in that moment of pain, fear, and anger, a decision rose within her. She would not marry that man. She would not live under her stepmother's control. She would not let poverty chain her future. When she returned inside later, she pretended nothing happened. She smiled weakly at her siblings, prepared dinner, swept the room and washed plates, all while her heart was breaking inside her chest. But she was already planning her escape. She waited until everyone slept. The night deepened, cool and silent, broken only by the occasional barking of village dogs and the far-off sound of a generator struggling to stay alive. At 1:27 a.m., Halima sat up in the darkness. Her siblings were curled beside her, breathing softly like innocent kittens. The moonlight slipping through the small window revealed her father's shadow on the wall in the next room. He was snoring heavily. Her stepmother, too, slept like someone who believed she had won. Halima reached for the nylon bag she hid under the bed. Her hands trembled as she packed. 2 wrappers, her school books, a small tin of Vaseline, the last picture she had of her late mother, and the 3,500 naira she had saved from selling zobo and kunu during holiday seasons. Her tears returned when she looked at her siblings. The youngest, Aisha, murmured something in her sleep and turned. Halima bent and kissed her forehead. One day, I will come back for you. I promise. Her voice cracked. She wiped her tears quickly and tiptoed to the door. The old wooden floor creaked softly under her weight. A dangerous sound in a house filled with light sleepers. She froze. Her father coughed from inside. Halima pressed both hands against her mouth. Her heart rammed against her ribs. She waited and waited until silence wrapped the room again. Slowly, she pushed the door. It opened. The cold night air kissed her face, sharp, almost violent. For a moment, she hesitated. She looked back at the house she grew up in, the only home she ever knew. But she wasn't safe there anymore. She stepped outside. The night was darker than she expected. The moon was hiding behind thick clouds. Shadows stretched everywhere like warning fingers. But Halima walked anyway. Then she walked faster. Then she ran. The stones cut into her feet, but she kept going. Her wrapper caught on thorns, tearing slightly, but she didn't stop. Every painful step reminded her of what she was running from. When she reached the main road after 2 hours of walking through bush paths, she was exhausted. Her legs shook violently. Her throat burned from dryness. She waited under a lonely tree, hugging herself for warmth. At 4 a.m., an old trailer roared past. She waved desperately, but it didn't stop. Tears filled her eyes again. Please. Somebody, help me. Another hour passed. Then she heard the sound of a bus, a small, rattling vehicle with faded paint and a cracked windscreen. She stepped into the middle of the road with all the courage she had left. The driver slowed down. Her heart soared. But before she could climb in, a deep voice thundered from behind. Halima! Where do you think you are going? She froze. Her blood turned to ice. She didn't need to turn to know the voice. Her father's younger brother, Uncle Danjuma, the man who reported everything, the man her stepmother used as a spy. He marched toward her, fury burning in his eyes. So you want to disgrace this family? You want to run because of marriage? Come back home immediately. He grabbed her wrist, squeezing it until she winced. The bus driver watched from the window. The sky was turning pale. Dawn was near. Halima looked at her uncle. Then she looked at the bus. Then at the road ahead, her only hope of freedom. Her uncle dragged her back, shouting insults that stung like hot oil. But in that moment, something rose inside Halima. A final spark of courage. She made a choice that shocked everyone standing there. Halima didn't think. She didn't plan. She acted purely on fear and desperation. With a sharp twist of her wrist, she tore herself out of Uncle Danjuma's grip. The pain shot up her arm, but she didn't care. She sprinted toward the bus like someone escaping death itself. Halima, come back here. Her uncle roared behind her. The driver saw what was happening. The anger on her uncle's face, the terror in Halima's eyes. And with one quick decision, he helped her. He pushed the bus door wide open. If you'd come quick. Halima launched herself inside, falling onto the front seat. The door slammed shut. Her uncle reached the bus, banging on the window. Driver, stop! Open this door now. But the driver didn't answer. He stepped hard on the accelerator. The bus jerked forward. Uncle Danjuma chased after them, but he didn't stand a chance. His voice slowly faded as the bus sped away. Halima watched him shrink in the distance until he became just another shadow swallowed by the morning mist. And for the first time since midnight, she breathed. But the relief didn't last. Now she was on her way to a city she knew nothing about, with strangers she had never met, leaving behind the only life she'd ever known. Freedom was terrifying. The bus was almost full. A soldier in uniform leaned against the window. A young mother carried a sleeping baby on her lap. 2 university students whispered to each other as they scrolled through their phones. An elderly trader with a basket full of yams sat near the door. All eyes were on Halima. Her wrapper was dusty and half torn. Her feet were bleeding. Her eyes were swollen from crying. She felt every stare like a needle. The young mother shifted closer. Auntie, you dey okay? Halima nodded even though it was a lie. The soldier leaned forward, his voice firm but not unkind. "Driver, who be this girl?" The driver glanced at Halima through the mirror. "I pick 'em for junction. She dey run from one man, way when force 'em go back." Murmurs filled the bus. The elderly trader shook her head. "These villages, sef, person no get right again?" The soldier exhaled deeply. "A small girl like this dem one marry off? Wickedness too much for this country." Halima tightened her grip on her nylon bag. She felt seen and strangely protected by these strangers. After a long silence, the young mother asked gently, "Where you dey go?" Halima swallowed hard. "Zaria." "You get people there?" She shook her head. The woman sucked her teeth in worry. You go need pray well. City no be like village, oh. People fit deceive you, chop your eye, use you anyhow." Halima nodded. She already understood that. Her voice was small when she finally whispered, "I just want to be safe." The soldier nodded. "May God guide you. You be brave, girl." For the first time since her escape, someone called her brave. It felt strange, but comforting. They entered Zaria at exactly 8:40 a.m. The bus slowed as they approached the bustling PZ roundabout. To Halima, the city looked like another world. Buildings everywhere, people everywhere, noise everywhere. Buses honked loudly. Okada zigzagged dangerously. Women fried yam on roadside grills. Students in backpacks rushed to class. Life moved fast. Too fast. The bus finally halted. "Last bus stop. Everybody come down." Halima stepped onto the busy roadside. The noise hit her like a slap. Her heart raced. The driver approached her and pressed something into her palm. It was a 500 naira note. Halima shook her head quickly. "No, sir. It's too much." He gave her a long, fatherly look. "Take am. You go need am. This city no get pity for stranger." Her throat tightened. "Thank you. God bless you." He nodded once and drove off. Alone again. Lost again. She held her nylon bag tightly and began walking, following the crowd because she had nowhere else to go. Halima wandered for almost 2 hours, through Samaru Market, past shops with loud music, across streets packed with okadas, under the hot sun that burned her shoulders. She stopped in front of a mosque where women were sweeping. Maybe she could ask for help. But before she took even 2 steps, a man appeared beside her. Tall, dark, mid-30s, wearing a black cap. His smile was too sudden, his eyes too sharp. "Sister, you dey lost?" Halima hesitated, but something in her wanted to trust anyone who seemed friendly. "Yes." The man studied her dusty clothes, her bag, her confused expression. "You new for Zaria?" She nodded. "You get where to stay?" She shook her head again. His smile widened. "No wahala. My sister dey rent small rooms for girls where they start life. Very cheap. You go fit manage." Cheap sounded good. A room sounded safe, or so she thought. "Where is it?" "Follow me. No far." He led her through a busy street, then a quieter one, then a narrower one, then a final corner that made her stomach twist. The noise of the market disappeared. The buildings looked old. The road was dusty and empty. They stopped at a long compound with high walls and a rusty gate. Halima's heartbeat quickened. "Sir, this place—" He cut her off sharply. "Enter." Halima took a step back. The gate creaked open, and a second man stepped out, muscular, expressionless, chewing a cigarette. He smirked. "This one fine. She go sell well." "Sell?" Halima's blood froze. This wasn't a room. This wasn't help. This was danger. Her voice trembled. I want to go. The first man grabbed her arm roughly. You know they go anywhere. Her breath caught in her chest. Her eyes darted around. No one was in sight. She was trapped. And then a loud voice echoed behind them. Hey, what are you doing with that girl? All heads turned. A young man stood down the street. Tall, serious-faced, wearing a brown caftan. His eyes locked on Halima with fierce concern. The two men stiffened. They exchanged glances. Something about the newcomer made them uneasy. The first man released Halima's arm slowly. The second muttered, "No trouble today," and stepped back into the compound. They slammed the gate. Halima's legs almost gave way. The young man hurried toward her. "Sister, are you okay?" She couldn't speak. Tears spilled silently. He stepped back respectfully, hands raised. "My name is Yusuf. I'm not here to harm you. You're not safe here. Come with me. That street is dangerous." Halima stared at him, then at the gate, then at her dusty bag, then at the busy, noisy, safer street in the distance. Her mind raced, her heart pounded. Once again, she had to choose. Halima stared at Yusuf, her vision blurry from tears and fear. Her legs trembled so badly she thought they might collapse under her. Yusuf noticed. He didn't move closer. He didn't touch her. He simply stepped aside and pointed toward a lively, noisy street behind him where women were frying akara, children were running, and a few men were arguing about football. "If you follow me, go that side. There are people. You'll be safe there. If you follow them," he pointed at the rusty gate behind her, "I cannot promise you'll come out again." Halima swallowed hard. Her heart raced. Her instinct screamed a warning, just like earlier. The rusty gate seemed to stare at her, waiting for her mistake. She hugged her nylon bag to her chest, took in a shaky breath, and stepped toward Yusuf. He exhaled with relief. "Good choice. Come." They walked slowly into the bustling street, and for the first time since entering Zaria, Halima felt air return to her lungs. Yusuf led her to a small compound with a blue gate. Chickens wandered lazily around the yard, and the scent of pepper soup drifted from a nearby cooking pot. He knocked gently. Within seconds, a woman in her late 40s opened the gate. Her face carried wisdom, the kind of expression that had seen pain but still chose kindness. "Mama, good afternoon," Yusuf greeted. She smiled at him warmly. Then her eyes landed on Halima. The smile faded into concern. "Yusuf, what happened?" Yusuf explained everything. The men, the gate, how he found her. Mama's expression hardened. She turned to Halima. "Come inside, my child." Halima obeyed. Mama guided her into a sitting room with old but clean sofas, a ceiling fan that squeaked, and a calendar from 2018 still hanging on the wall. She gave Halima water first, then bread and warm kunu. Then she sat beside her. Her voice was soft, almost motherly. "Now, tell me what brought you here." And Halima told her. Slowly, painfully, tearfully, the forced marriage, her stepmother's lies, her father's silence, the midnight escape, the bus, the strange men, everything. By the time she finished, Mama's eyes were filled with anger. Not at Halima, but at the cruelty she endured. Mama held her hand gently. "My daughter, listen to me. Nobody has the right to force your life into their pocket. You did well. You are safe now." For the first time in decades, Halima felt what it meant to be protected. Mama prepared a small room for Halima, gave her clean clothes, and taught her how to sweep the compound and arrange the small shop she ran. Yusuf was always around, not too close, not too distant. He greeted her respectfully every morning. He walked her to the shop sometimes, but he never made her uncomfortable. Halima noticed something about him. He was gentle in spirit, but firm when danger appeared. He looked like someone carrying his own quiet battles. One evening, as she swept the compound, she caught him watching her. He looked away quickly, embarrassed. She smiled for the first time in days, but her peace was short-lived. Because far away in Gidansauni, her disappearance had turned the village upside down, and the one man she feared the most was already looking for her. It was a Thursday afternoon, hot and dusty. Halima and Mama were arranging bags of beans in the shop. Halima was laughing at something Mama said when a shadow fell across the doorway. She didn't look up at first, but when she heard the voice, her blood turned cold. Halima. Her bag of beans slipped from her hands. The beans scattered across the floor like frightened insects. She looked up slowly. Her father stood there, but not the father she remembered, not the stern, distant man who let his wife control the house. This man looked broken. His clothes were dusty. His eyes were red and swollen. His feet looked like he had walked across half of Kaduna State barefoot. Mama stepped forward immediately. "Malam, why are you here?" Halima's father removed his cap, voice trembling. I am looking for my daughter." Halima's heart squeezed painfully. She didn't know whether to run, cry, or shout. Her father's eyes scanned the shop, desperate and frantic. Then he found her. When he saw her, his lips trembled. He staggered backward as if someone punched him in the chest. "Halima, my child, what have I done?" Mama held Halima's shoulder gently. "Before you speak to this girl, explain yourself. Why did you try to force her into marriage?" The shop fell silent. Even passers-by slowed down to listen. Halima held her breath. Her father sat heavily on a wooden stool, rubbing his forehead. Then he revealed a truth Halima never expected. "It was not my idea." Halima blinked. He continued, voice cracking. "Your stepmother. She threatened to leave. She said you brought bad luck. She said if I didn't marry you off, she would poison the house with lies against you. And against me." Halima's eyes widened. He swallowed hard. "I am a weak man. I allowed her to push me, but when I woke up and found your room empty, I realized I had chosen fear over my daughter." He looked at her with tears streaming. "I have been searching for you for 6 days. I slept outside. I walked from village to village. I asked strangers for help. I was afraid something terrible happened to you." Halima pressed a hand against her mouth as tears poured from her eyes. Her father moved slowly to his knees. "Forgive me. Please come home." The entire shop fell silent. Yusuf, who had just entered, froze at the door. His eyes moved from Halima to her father, reading the moment. Halima wiped her tears but didn't step forward. Her voice shook as she said, "Baba, I forgive you, but I cannot return while she is there." Her father's lips trembled. "What do you want me to do?" Halima inhaled deeply. "Choose peace, or choose her." A long silence followed. Her father bowed his head. And then, with the voice of a man finally tired of suffering, he whispered, "I will send her away." Halima gasped. Mama clapped her hands softly in relief. Yusuf's eyes softened with admiration. Her father continued, "I will not lose my daughter again." Halima burst into tears and hugged him tightly. 3 days before returning to the village, Mama called Halima outside. Yusuf stood under the mango tree, looking nervous. Mama smiled. "Yusuf has something to say." Yusuf stepped forward, voice shaking slightly. "Halima, since the day I saw you standing in danger, something changed in me." Halima's breath halted. He continued gently, I don't want to rush anything. I just want to walk beside you, to support you, to help you rebuild your life, if you'll let me." Halima's eyes filled with tears again, but this time they were warm. No fear, no pressure, no force, just respect, just care, just possibility. She whispered, "Thank you, Yusuf." He smiled softly, and in that moment she understood something. She didn't just escape a marriage she didn't choose. She escaped a life that wasn't hers, and she rewrote her destiny.